Hello and welcome to week 11. Can you believe we have made it this far? We've only got 1 week left after this week. You guys will have the choice to bind off and leave it as is or move on to week 13 and add a border. But this week we are working on pyramid stitch. This is an easy one. I will give you a little bit of a hint. Next week is a little more challenging. So this week you can think of as kind of a break before we tackle techniques that are maybe new to some other folks. This stitch is just worked with knits and purls, and it has what I think is a really pretty geometric pattern, especially when you're working over a large space and especially from far away when you can't quite tell how it's knit until you get up close. But it's just made with simple knits and purls. Because of that, I'm only going to walk you through a couple rows of it, but I am working with my normal size swatch. I do have a nice pair of Chalgu needles in here, so I'm not going to complain about those today. But just to get started, I am working row 1. So I'm going to knit for purl 1. And then I'm going to start the repeats in between the stars. Row 2 is really what I wanted to show you all. So please bear with me while I get to it. So now I'm repeating between the stars, knit 7, purl 1 until I get to the last 3. I hope you guys like my emoji band-aid. I took a good chunk out of my finger this week. We got some of those floor mats that are silicone or rubber or whatever they are, and you can trim them down to size, and I trimmed right through my finger. That was really unpleasant. It did take me out of commission for a couple days for knitting, just because so much happens right here, and the cut is literally, it's a right angle. For anybody out there who isn't squeamish, it is a right angle cut that bled quite a bit. Okay, so I'm to the end. Oops, there we go. Okay, so I'm to the end, and what I wanted to show you guys was, we've done this before, but in case you have forgotten, for every even row, so every time you're working on the wrong side, you are going to work the stitches exactly like they look. So for example, the last 3, I knit, but on this side they look like purls because it's the wrong side. So because it looks like a purl, it's a purl on this side, I'm going to purl it. Okay, and then this one looking like a knit, so I'm going to go ahead and knit that. And then again back to more purls. And you'll see me switching between my different wrap styles for my purl stitches. And I know a couple of folks have asked before, oh, it looks like you're knitting into the back of your stitches. I'm actually knitting into the right leg of the stitch. So if your stitch is normally oriented like this, it's due to the way you wrap your purls. So if your stitch is normally oriented like this, you are knitting this way. So it would look like that, but as you can see, either way you're knitting into what is the right leg of the stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way to the end. I actually learned how to wrap my stitches quote-unquote backwards by accident, but I learned that with combination knitting you can actually, when I hold my yarn with my left hand, can actually switch between knits and purls very quickly. Okay, so I've worked all those stitches, so essentially you're working the same type of row twice. So every time you're looking at a design, it's being done once on the right side and once on the wrong side, exactly the same. Okay, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can add them to the post, or you can ask them in our Facebook group. There will be links for all 3. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week for a bit of a challenge, and then we'll be done or almost done. See you soon.